Hello, guys, and welcome back to hopefully another amazing episode of the We Racing podcast. I'm here, Jason, and I'm here with Matt, as always, to discuss the weekly goings on in the motorsport world, which you may have missed, you may not have missed, but come and watch and find out. How are you, Matt? You okay?
Yeah, very well. A lot happened last weekend in We Racing and in the racing world. Well, I was hoping on a bit different results, especially when it comes to Formula One, but we'll talk it about later.
Yes, you and me both. You and me both. I mean, we might as well jump straight into it. The biggest talking point in motorsport this weekend was the World Drivers' Championship, with Lando taking the win in the last race of the season by 2 points. I mean, was that in your prediction?
Well, everything was showing that Lando will get this championship. Even Zach Brown said before that they will use team orders, and thankfully they didn't have to. But they will use team orders just to make sure one of the drivers will take the championship. So it was, the underline of it is that we will ask Oscar to move away from Lando if that will be move away from Lando if that will be the case. Well, Max has done the most that he could. He got the pole position. He won in Vegas. He won in Abu Dhabi. He couldn't done anything more. So he just had to count on some kind of tragedy that will happen in McLaren, but it didn't happen. So anyway, congratulations to Lando. I was hoping Max will win it, but well, we have another world champion and a British world champion, so that's good.
Yeah, for sure. I think I was a Oscar fan, to be honest, not a Max one. But well done to Lando, obviously, for winning it. I mean, the thing that struck me most when I looked back at the results for the three drivers was the amount of second places Lando had. We'll have to start calling him Phil Beckett sooner or later. But the amount of second places that he had, and obviously those extra points on top of Piastri, and those were races where Piastri would, if he wasn't finishing first and Lando was finishing second, he'd be finishing fourth, fifth, and it was just, that's where he's kind of lost it, because he was dominating poles first half of the season. But if you look, Lando was P2 for most of those. Whereas when you look at the second half of the season where Lando was dominating poles, obviously Oscar was quite a way off. So obviously that's how the big point swing has occurred. But either a well done to both the drivers taking it to the end, and obviously a special well done to Max for getting it back that close. What do you think the biggest thing for Max was? What do you think it was that brought him back?
I think he just found the pace in the car, basically. I'm not sure if there was any technical changes that made the car, let's say, more reliable when it comes to his driving style. But I think he just found a way to work around it. Well, we know that Max is fantastic driver, and he will do everything just to make sure that he will be on the top. And he was on the top in the last couple of races. And as I said, he couldn't do any more to get this championship. He even said in the press conference before the race that his mom and his dad weren't even there because they were not expecting half of the season that he will be still in the game.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people, especially at sort of the summer break, to say if he was 2 points off the World Drivers' Championship at the halfway point, I don't think anyone would really take you up on that bet. But it just goes to show the level of driver. Obviously, Jensen said that he's the best F1 driver that there's ever been, in his opinion. So it obviously goes a long way. And of course, you can't not be great if you've won 4 World Drivers' Championships. So it's it kind of goes without saying. One thing I will talk about while we're just talking about Max, obviously his teammate, or now I guess ex-teammate, Yuki Tsunoda.
Yeah, I think they have already swapped the cars today, and we had Hadjar in Red Bull and Lindblad in Racing Bulls. Yeah, it's a shame because I think Tsunoda deserved definitely one more season, because it wasn't even full season in Red Bull Racing. But looking at the Max results, I agree that they were not the most appealing. Let's put it this way. But Yuki is a good driver, and we've seen him delivering a lot of good results in Racing Bulls. I'm hoping that he will land in somewhere good place and some good series. Maybe Formula E, maybe some kind of endurance races. If not, we welcome to e-racing. We'll definitely welcome with open hands.
We'll always take him at we racing. I mean, the guy that's replacing him, I mean, it's not like he doesn't deserve it, though, if we're being honest. Some unbelievable performances this season, serious composure behind the wheel. I think if there was anyone who was going to replace Yuki, it was always going to be him. But I do think it is really well deserved.
Yes, it is well deserved. Isack Hadjar showed, well, we've seen what happened in Australia, that he basically broke down after the first lap. He crashed and then broke down mentally. We've seen the Andrew Hamilton was cheering him up. Helmut Marko, which I will talk about a bit later, had, let's say, some of his involvement that wasn't really liked by people. So he definitely deserved a place. I'm not sure if Yuki deserved to be degraded, but we don't have 3 cars in the team, so it is what it is.
Yeah, I think I've heard Yuki's going to be the test driver or third driver or so for the team. So I'm hoping that means if there are a few other slots that open up, maybe 2027, you can get himself back on the grid. But you mentioned Helmut Marko. I have to go there. Obviously, he's been relieved of duties, left his post, however you want to word it. He's gone.
Fired.
Finally, which a lot of people will say. I was going to ask you how you felt about it, but I think it's pretty obvious.
I'm very happy. Well, whoever is following my LinkedIn, they know that I don't stand the guy. He shouldn't be in Formula One for the last 10 years because he was completely out of touch. He was not giving any kind of positive feedbacks and positivity in general for the Formula One. Even last week, when he was first one to throw the stones at Kimi Antonelli, saying that he purposely gave the position to Lando Norris, which was obvious that it wasn't the case. So for someone that influential in Formula One saying those kind of things, there's no space for those kind of people in Formula One, especially knowing, obviously it's rumors, but I've heard that he actually contracted Alex Dune to replace sorry, what is his name? I forgot his name now. The guy from Racing Bulls. Anyway, he's supposed to be with Alfred Lindbald in Racing Bulls with Alex Dune, but he done it behind everyone's back. And Red Bull actually had to pay out almost $1 million to get out of the contract, which on being on a position of Alex that he is racing in Formula One, it's ultimate heartbreak because you had the contract in hand, but you're finding out that it wasn't legit. What you should do then? Hopefully he will get his chance. I don't think personally that it will happen again.
The issue that I have with it, the reason it doesn't sit very well with me is because he was part of the McLaren team. So he was, I don't think he had a route into a seat, but I think he was in the McLaren junior program or so, something like that. Obviously then signed the contract, leaving that and then having that contract terminated. So it must be a really hard thing to mentally to kind of manage and focus on and try and put it behind you and move on for the next steps of your career. I mean, talking about mentally, I was going to ask in terms of Helmut Marko, and obviously recently we've had the Ferrari CEOs come out and mention about the drivers. How much do you think the noise outside of sort of the drivers, the mechanics, do you think that the drivers should really be paying attention to? Do you think it's valid when they let these things affect them, or do you think they should concentrate a bit more on the racing?
I think you can say whatever you can say. When you are in the position of power, you are listened, whether you like it or not. So if anybody on this position is saying derogatory things about their drivers or any other driver, they definitely hear it. It's not they can say that they are strong, they don't care about this, etc. But they hear it, and they definitely, maybe not Max. Max is completely different story, but even Lando said that he basically had to switch off completely from social media. He was even banned, and Oscar as well, of talking to any other media than the one that he's obligated to talk with, just to take him out of this noise that is going around them. So if those people are saying those things, and they're doing obviously deliberately because they want to be heard because they are talking with media, there's really no point because it's not gonna do any good for anyone, for them.
Yeah,
and
I
for
agree.
the
I think
drivers.
it's hard. You see it a lot in football as well, with the kind of abuse on social media, and obviously the comments from the pundits, former players, etc. And it's a kind of a similar thing. I do believe to some extent that as a professional, with you being paid what you are paid, part of the job is the criticism. And I think you kind of have got to have a bit of tough skin, like you say, like a Max, to succeed. But definitely, especially in the example of Helmut Marko, overstepped the line quite a few times, and those things obviously can play in people's minds. We're all human, you know, just because they are professionals, they're not robots. It does affect them, you know, go home, they leave the track and go back to their family, and they read all the tweets and messages and things, and obviously that can have some effect. So I definitely think there needs to be a bit more, I don't want to say policing, but a little bit more guidelines, assistance, help just for the drivers in terms of what's being said, what's being put out there. But I guess at the end of the day, the media is the media, and like you say, people are entitled to say what they want to say, which is not nice.
You're saying that, but you mentioned the feedback or criticism. That's absolutely correct. Everything and everyone should be open to criticism, especially constructive one. But we have to determine what is criticism and what is hate, and hate is not acceptable. If Helmut Marko is spreading those things, not even checking onboard, because it was very easy for Kimi Antonelli for him to check the onboard of Kimi Antonelli, and he wouldn't have to say that, but he did. And he knew what will happen afterwards. He apologized, but this apology wasn't heard as much as his allegations.
Yeah, I saw that. I heard or I've read, I should say, that the apology was, I don't want to say forced, but it wasn't probably of his own agenda. But what was nice to see was I saw the clip of Kimi and Max in the media pen after. And obviously discussing it, and Kimi apologised and looked really upset about it, and Max was just like, listen, don't worry about it, no hard feelings, it happened. So, you know, I think the fact that Helmut Marko has left the team, obviously Horner's left the team as well, the dynamic definitely seems to be a lot better, the energy and the spirit seems to be a lot higher. I'm just hoping that the second driver curse doesn't land on Isack Hadjar, because as we all know, we've known for the last 5-6 years, however long, being that second driver to Max isn't easy, and it can kill careers.
Yes, absolutely. We've seen it with Daniel Ricciardo. We've seen it with Sergio Perez. Although he's coming back next year with Cadillac, so that's good. But personally, I don't think Yuki will land any other seat in Formula One anymore. Simply because, well, Formula One, you are as good as your last race or last season. And Yuki last season was awful. I think he was scored the worst as a driver in a drivers' championship by sports people, media people, as they were counting, the power rankings. He was scored the worst. So I don't think he will land any other job unless he will move away from racing. And, he said himself that he wants to open the restaurant. So maybe that's his route after retiring from Formula One.
Racing. Well, if it is the last time we've seen him, sad, but it's a sad. I mean, just before I do say that, actually, one thing I did notice was kind of the lack of noise around his exit. I feel like, I know Red Bull aren't usually the most empathetic team in the world, but I feel like we probably should have, or he at least deserved a bit more of a send off than what I noticed. Or do you not think?
Well, we had very similar situation with Daniel Ricciardo when he was leaving Racing Bulls. Apparently, he didn't want it, any kind of send-off, any kind of events or anything like that, because he knew, well, it's nothing to celebrate. When you're fired from the job, it's nothing to celebrate, especially after the season like this one. So maybe it was his own will that he didn't want to do anything like that. If it was Red Bull's decision, I kind of understand, simply because it was, we are able to predict that it will happen sooner or later.
Yeah, for sure. No, I agree. I also noticed went kind of under the radar, Viaplay. So I believe that's like a Dutch Sky, isn't it? A Dutch broadcasting company. Yeah. They voted Ollie Bearman Rookie Driver of the Year, which I probably have to say I slightly disagree with, but he's definitely a worthy contender. What did you think of that?
I agree. Simple as that. I agree. Ollie Bearman delivered outstanding performances this season in a Haas, when competing with much more experienced Esteban Ocon that he's racing in Formula One for 6-8 years already. It was his first season, full season in Formula One, So I completely agree. He was definitely the guy that was the best rookies. Some people might agree that it could be Kimi Antonelli, but Kimi Antonelli had winning car. George Russell delivered fantastic performances this season, and Kimi as well, scoring a podium. Don't remember which race, but he had definitely Canada, I think. So yeah, I agree. Oliver Behrman was the rookie of the year.
Yeah, unbelievable driving from him this season, and I won't be surprised if I do see him in a Ferrari seat in the next couple of seasons, or at least one of the bigger teams. I think for me, Ollie Behrman shows that he's capable of driving any team. Especially, I mean, we saw it from when he drove for Ferrari for that one race a few seasons ago. But you can see in his full season this season that he is ready for a bigger team, in my opinion. I think the same with Isack Hadjar, obviously, who has now gone to Red Bull. But I think between the two of them, I think that there's two of the most talented drivers on the grid that are coming through. But yeah, no, good for them. Well done to Ollie Behrman. Just moving on, I'm going to throw over to you. You can fill us in on our Wii Racing results from the weekend, because there's some exciting stuff to talk about.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we finished the season 2 weeks ago. And well, we were thinking that there'll be that season that not much will be happening, but actually Harley a couple of weeks ago told me that he wanted to do a winter challenge out at Three Sisters track. Well, we arrived in the track and we come back with second place in hand, so that was fantastic performance. Well, I've seen him driving and I was on the radio with him whole race. He was excited the second part to the point that I had to tell him, you don't have the second place yet, calm down and focus, finish the race. But the overtake that he made about 3/4 into the race to claim the second position was absolutely outstanding. The round outside on the wet, cold, dark track was absolutely phenomenal. He definitely kept it very well, very clean. The driver, he was fighting with this driver for a couple of laps and he just didn't give him any chance. I don't think this driver was even expecting that this move will be pulled over there. Well, Harley's happy, I'm happy, team is happy, so hopefully we'll have more until the beginning of the next season.
Yeah, and we've got many races planned left until till the new year.
Until New Year, there is none left. The next winter challenge is January and February. It's only three races in the series. But well, second place in the first race. The appetites are rising.
That's it. I mean, it would be nice to start the year off with a first place trophy, wouldn't it, for us and the guys?
Yeah, Harley definitely listening to it. So I'm hoping, Harley, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
gold one next time.
Harley, you know what you need to do, Harley. You're watching this. You know what you need to do.
He exactly know what he has to do as well.
Good. And I mean, we haven't actually spoken about our little go in the team event a couple of weeks ago, because we didn't actually catch up last week. But for those who don't know, me and Matt, we swapped the headphones and computers for some helmets and gloves in the cold, wet Wigan in Manchester to go around the Three Sisters. How'd you find it?
Well, that was fun. That was really, really fun. I really enjoy it. Well, as I've mentioned before on the last episode, I'm a bit heavier guy. So, well, I had a bit more grip than other people. So I could brake a bit later. I could take the corners a bit sharper. So it was really cool seeing people just driving away or, pushed out because of the speed, and I was just holding the apex all the time. Because of that, well, I was starting fifth thanks to Phil that secured this position in qualifying. I started fifth and I gave position 6th or 7th, so I haven't lost much. But I have to say, and I have to well, admit that every single corner I was doing.
Yeah,
drifting.
It looks like a.
But it was just I couldn't resist. I just had to do it.
It looks like
so
a scene out
fun.
of Tokyo Drift when I saw you go past.
That was nice. Yeah, you were a bit on the back, but how you find it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. What the first thing I need to say is my respect goes out to all of the drivers. Obviously, it was a 2-hour endurance. When I came off because I was the last driver on. So when I came off, I physically had to unpeel my hands from the steering wheel grip position because they were so cold and frozen. I just thought, how do people do this? I thought, there's no way you can get me in the 6 hour. If you need a backup driver, we have to get a ringer in. So I'm not doing that. But no, it was good. It was good fun. Obviously, I was with Eamon. And again, we kind of didn't really set ourselves any serious targets, expectations. Thought we'd let the pros go at it. But no, it was a good session. Glad I did it. Good experience. Didn't bin it too badly. So yeah, everyone made it home nice and safe. So I can't complain. But it was good.
Exactly. Was it that's why you were ill last week?
Do you know what? I didn't even think about it, but do you know what? It probably was. I probably caught pneumonia or something with that. It was so cold. It was so cold.
It was very cold. It was very cold. It was like 6 degrees. No more. Definitely no more. Even with the go-kart, when you're doing 60, 70 miles an hour and a long straight, definitely was minus something.
Yeah, it was very, very cold. But I can't wait for the summer days. When the summer's back, I'll hop back in. That'll be better for me.
You're more than welcome.
Talking about that event, we actually had a little bit of an incident, if you remember, around team names.
Oh yeah. Well, we had a funny situation. Let's put it this way. But it's all sorted now. I spoke with the guys. I explained why we appreciate that if they will not use our name, and they say they won't. So I really appreciate how, let's say, in adult way they approach the topic. And well, I'm happy that we racing will stay we racing for the people that mean we racing.
For those of you who aren't sure on what we're talking about, essentially we usually have a We Racing Team 1 and 2 for most of the events, and obviously me and Matt were driving last time, so we threw in a We Racing 3. So there's 3 teams, and we turn up on the day, we look at the timing sheets, and we see a We Racing 4. We're thinking, who is that? And it happens to be another team that's used a name and put number 4 in the end. But like Matt said, it's all sorted now. But it was quite funny watching the havoc unfold on the day.
Yeah, well, they scored second place, so congratulations to them. The go-kart was pretty fast, so I have to give credit to that as well. Well, we know how Three Sisters is taking care of the fleet. Let's put it this way. But well, congratulations to them. The topic is sorted and closed, so hopefully it won't happen again.
Perfect. The last thing I just wanted to touch on is the 2026 driver changes for the regulations. Okay, so there's 2 things that obviously the main things that are coming in. Obviously, the engines are different this year as well, but the main things that, or the main thing I want to talk about is the wings. Obviously, the movable wings that are coming in this year in replace of DRS. Good, bad?
Have you seen the massive device that Mercedes bring for the testing? It looked like mustache.
Yeah, just
basically.
cables everywhere. Yeah, good, bad. You think great? Yeah. Miss DRS, buy DRS. What are your thoughts?
Oh yeah, exactly. Do you know which driver used the DRS last time? Last time ever. Was Kimi Antonelli.
I think I heard this, but I couldn't remember. Yes, I did hear it. The last one to use it.
Yeah. Well, it's good and bad that DRS is going away, and it's good and bad that we have active aerodynamics next season. We don't know how it will work. We don't know how it will change the order when it comes to the driver and team standings. I can only say we will see. We can't predict anything simply because we don't know which team will land where with regulations, and also we are changing engines. And I'm not sure if you know him, Marcin Budkowski. He's a Polish not driver. He used to be Renault team principal and CEO back in the days, and he shared some insights when it comes to the engines that apparently all the teams except Mercedes are behind about 6 months. So I'm hoping that they will actually sort out themselves. It was to the point that he even mentioned that Aston Martin will not show up on the first testing session that is in February. It's to this point. Ferrari is apparently struggling to find suppliers for the engine parts. So, well, we will see. Hopefully it will not be disaster as we had in the beginning of V6 era. Hopefully the teams will sort it out, but I'm really hoping that we'll have a good show from the first race of the season in Australia next year.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. I mean, with the talent that's on the grid next year, alongside these new cars as well and the regulations. Drivers still getting used to the cars, because the drivers have had, I mean, the ones that aren't rookies, of course, have had a few years to get used to these cars and drive them. Obviously, everyone's on a level playing field next season, so I do think it will be very interesting. I think I get the feeling we're going to start to see a bit of a team gap again for next year, where we might get a top 4 or 5 teams kind of run away with it and have a couple of the bottom teams struggle. That's just my prediction. But I think regardless of what happens, it's going to be exciting for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm hoping we won't have the domination of one team and then couple of seconds behind rest. It may happen. We don't know, but I'm really hoping that it will not. We will have a good show from the first race of the season, and we don't know what Cadillac will do. Maybe they will come and dominate as well. That will be fun to watch.
That's it. An extra 2 cars on track next season. I'm excited. I'm excited for it. Obviously, in Sauber, then also go to Audi next season. So there's quite a few changes. It's a very, very different season for the first time in a long time coming up. So I do think there'll be a lot to watch out for. I'm putting my early hat on George Russell to take the World Drivers' Championship next season. I'm calling it early. Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah, I'm getting in there early. But yeah, I think it will be really good to watch, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah, me too. And coming to the end, well, the Formula One has ended right now. Are you following any other series?
Do you know, I've just got over the drama of F1, to be fair. Do you know what? Do you know what? The only other thing that I generally tend to watch is the MotoGP, which obviously...
MotoGP, interesting. I was with Damon this year, thanks to Daniela and Hadad at MotoGP at Silverstone this year. There was the show was fantastic. I've seen a couple of races on TV as well. I'm not a big fan of motorcycles, so maybe that's why it didn't, let's say, turn me on as much. Yeah. But well, this weekend, and to be fair, I always wanted to watch this series, even though a couple of years ago people were saying that it's a series to retire the drivers. But couple of last seasons were actually delivering a lot of drama and a lot of good races. I'm talking about Formula E that is starting this weekend. So I'm giving a go. We will see what will happen. Maybe I will positively surprise.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna check into Formula E this weekend, and we can have a review of it. Have a review of it next week and see what our thoughts are on it. See if it's converted us or not.
Yeah, it's in Sao Paulo, but not in the track. It's in the city, so we will be able to see, the differences between those cars. Apparently they're changing some rules as well when it comes to qualifying and the race itself. It will be interesting to see. Let's give it a go.
Let's give it a go and find out. I'll report back to you next week. But yeah, that's everything for today. As per usual, Matt, thank you so much for joining us today. Guys, again, if you haven't already, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, tell a friend. And yeah, we'll catch you next time. Peace.
Thank you, guys. See ya.